Welcome to Hodge, Podge, Australia. Today we're making Christmas meringues with Christmas trees and Santa hats. You're going to need only a few ingredients for this. You need 4 egg whites, perfectly separated. Don't get any yolk in there, and make sure it's a very clean bowl. You need a cup of caster sugar and a pinch of salt. Now I'm not using all that salt, I just have some there for a pinch. If you'd like to see my full meringue recipe on exactly how to do it, click on the link in the description box below, but I'm going to quickly whip this one up so we can get on with the decorating. So I'm going to add just that pinch of salt into my egg whites. I'm going to go over and pop that into my whisk food processing blender, and it's not even any of those sort of things, is it? It's a mixer, and I'm going to whisk that until it is lovely and firm, adding a little bit of caster sugar in at a time. But as I've mentioned, you just want to check out the video with the full meringue description in the box below. But this is the meringue consistency that you're looking for. I have 3 piping bags. 2 of them have the 1M Wilton, usually the rose tip. We're going to use this for our Christmas tree, so I have 2 of those. And then I also have the piping bag with just a nice large open tip once I've fixed that rose petal one. So there you can see there, it just has an open tip, and we're going to use that for our Santa hat. So separate your meringue into 3 lots and colour them appropriately. I've gone with white, green and red for the Santa hats. Let's first start off with the Christmas trees though. So we need our white and our green meringue. Now, a great tip I picked up is that with your baking paper, add a little bit of the meringue mixture just onto the tray, and you will then stick your baking paper down, because you want your meringues to be flat, and sometimes baking paper will curl if it's sitting on your tray a bit funny. So put a little bit of meringue on there and it's going to hold that baking paper down. Simple. Now let's start the trees. So start with a nice big squirt onto the baking tray, then pull it off and do a second and a third, just a little bit smaller each time on those trees. That way you get really nice tree shape. You get the really bushy bottom, the middle and that peak on the top, and then add some sprinkles. I have some lovely pink, white and red sprinkles there for all our baubles on our Christmas tree. You're simply going to do this time and time again. It really is very simple. You can do a little bit of wave if you like, as I've shown there. Wave it as you're popping it down, and then the little tip on the top, and then add on your sprinkles. It really is up to you. You can swirl it all the way around and just do one big continuous tree, but I like the way these are shaped with the 3 squeezes so that you get some real definition between the base and the top. And you can see there I'm also doing it in the white. So I have a selection of green Christmas trees, which is very Australian. We don't have any snow here. And we have our white Christmas trees, which we would all love to see. I'd love to have a white Christmas, and one of these days I'll get there. Another tip is, if you are making these in a hot climate, is you need to make sure you're making meringues in a cool room. You cannot do this in a humid, hot, sweaty room, because it just won't work. So make sure you've got the air conditioning on. It's time for the Santa hats. So I'm just using my large open tip to simply squirt out. It almost looks like a Hershey's Kiss. If you've ever seen this Hershey's Kisses shapes, just a large squeeze at the bottom and then tapering off as you get to the top so that you get the peak of the Santa hats. Now mine has come out a little bit more pink than red, but I didn't want to add too much red food colouring in case it changed the consistency of those meringues. But just do this time and time again until you have as many Santa hats as you want. These meringues need to bake in the oven for an hour and a half at 90 degrees Celsius, and then leave them to cool in the oven for 3 to 4 hours. Next, when they are dry and cool, melt yourself a little bit of white chocolate, and I am using some sanding sugar just in a nice off-white colour. You could also get some little white pearl beads if you'd like, but I like the sanding sugar. Grab one of your Santa hats, which should have a nice hollow tap sound when you tap it on the bottom. Dip it into the white chocolate, just a little bit, but you want to get that section of Santa's hat that has the white fur around it, so you're looking for just the outline on the bottom, as you can see there. Wipe off any excess chocolate. You don't want a huge amount of chocolate on the end, but then pop it in and put some sanding sugar straight onto that wet chocolate, and it's going to make that lovely Santa's hat edging. What would you even call that? Is it a trim? It's probably a trim. So there you get your lovely little Santa hat meringues as well, with a little bit of chocolate, and nobody's going to complain about there being some chocolate on their meringue. do that time and time again and put them all on the tray so that you have a lovely selection of Santa's hats and Christmas trees. Here are our Christmas trees out of the oven. Again, I mentioned if you are in Australia or a really hot climate, I've actually left these in the oven just on a rather cool temperature just to keep them dried out, because in this humidity, and my goodness is it humid today, they will go soggy very quickly. So you need to make sure that if you are serving these out, you have somewhere to store them that is nice and dry and will keep them lovely and crisp. But these are our Christmas meringues of Santa's hats and Christmas trees. They're super simple and they're very effective. I love these and the kids love these. They're great for school breakups or any sort of Christmas parties that you have. Make sure you follow us on social media and share any photos of your attempts at these Christmas meringues with us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, what else? Instagram. We're here on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe and we will see you again real soon.